Hi, and welcome to advice for completing year 5 of the simulation. So, in this continuing series, last round I was talking about completing year 4, and in that round I over forecasted some of my cars, created an unfortunate deficit, and now I'm going to show you how to recover once you make a mistake that over forecasting and building up a lot of inventory, which destroys your total asset turnover, your return on assets, your cash, because the profits don't translate to cash, and you usually have a surprise deficit. So now moving into year 5, I mean, you can have a year where maybe you earn under 200 points, but since the overview is year over year, you have a chance to improve your year 5 statistics to beat year 4 to get to hopefully earn some of those points back. Now, if you go to your assessments page, and it's really important to go into your assessments page, and when you have a low score somewhere or average score or a poor score, to really look over what's happening in the simulation. Think about it, look over the hints they have to improve. So the self-assessment here is a way to really help to improve your game. And of course, you want to look at your charts, with the most important being your performance chart. And you want to see that as you're going through, you want to kind of, especially at the bottom here, you can see what a drastic drop off I had in points. And if I look at my forecasting, yeah, I met all my forecasting for 3 vehicles, but here I only sold 5,600, but I forecasted 1,000 vehicles more than that. Now here, luxury is the one area where I actually under forecasted. So I need to really kind of think about this when I do the next round, or this current round. Okay. So going back after review the charts, review the industry to see my sales and my market potential versus the competitors in the industry, and kind of get an idea of where they're at in relationship to me and what I could do to improve based on what some of the top competitors are doing. So now I go back to my sales and I see here that my operational cost reductions did increase. And this is going to help me to maintain my profit margin as I am slowly improving my vehicles. And that's what investors are expecting, that vehicles are being improved because their expectation ranges are increasing. So I have to push up the amount, the build and design of the car to meet the ever increasing customer expectations for the vehicle. And you can see here I'm jumping nicely in my profit margin because, and again, with the forecast, I want to be careful because I over forecasted last round. So, like I always say, it's important to work with that student manual. And in there, they have a very, really good guidelines to help you stay on track in the simulation. So, we're in year 5. So, I just want to get an idea of where some of my forecasting should be. So, for example, here for economy, 53 is what the average sales would be. So I'm going to go about 55 on economy. See how I do with that. And then moving into sedan. And because I made those operational cost reductions, I'm able to increase my features, which should make my cars a little bit more desirable. And hopefully, at the same time I increase my features, hopefully I can also increase my profit margin, which I am doing. So I'm making a better car. I should have more demand. And the sales every year, the sales are growing for this industry every year, which is something else I need to take into consideration. So let's see if I make a really, see what I can do on this truck here. So sometimes I could see here already I'm not beating my profit margin. So that's a disappointment to investors. So I'm going to lower some of the characteristics. Still trying to make sure I beat what I did last round. That's going up a bit. Okay, so now I'm higher. Again, looking at that truck, 3,700. So so you see, I forecasted 7,000, but I only sold 3,000. So I had a lot of trucks left over, and I forecasted 6,600, and I had only sold 5,600. So you can see that I over forecasted last round. So and I kind of wanted to do that um, because I wanted to show you that if you do make a mistake, like you over forecast, how to correct for it and how to keep your forecast more on track. Because I noticed some companies in this winter competition are having a problem with forecasting in an accurate manner. Either they're under forecasting too much or they're over forecasting. So you want to get that in as best as possible. Okay, and again, these operational cost reductions is what's helping me to stay on target. All right, so now I'm going to have to tweak this a bit because so I'm gonna, and it takes some time to play around, to try to get the right mix, and I'm going up in profit margins here, which is nice, what I want. So I'm going to submit my sales data, and then I'm going to do marketing. It takes a while, so I'm going to do that off screen, and again, I have to use that student manual to go in and see what the effectiveness is and where the money should be. And some students are smart. They build a spreadsheet and they factor in these percentages. So they put the total amount that they want to spend, and automatically it breaks out to the categories. So using a spreadsheet to help to do the advertising is really smart and helps to get done really quick. And I also noticed that last round, not only did I over forecast, I under advertised. I advertised on a lower side than of the range and on the higher side. So the combination of over advertising and under advertising, spending less or the lower range of the advertising range, and over forecasting was a bad recipe last round. And I was doing that purposely because I wanted to show you that you can mess up and you can rebound from it and make back a lot of those points that you missed from the previous round. So here I have enough. Nope, I have to get a factory here. My capacity utilization is going to be a little low because I'm building the whole factory just to make 400 cars. But I don't want to lose out on my sales, so I'm kind of, as long as I can get to that capacity utilization that's somewhat decent, if I could build at least 400 or 500 cars in a factory, I'll probably do it so as not to lose the sales to the competitor. So here in Sedan, I have 7 factories. I have 1,000 cars in inventory, which are going to be repurposed, so I don't need to build a new factory. I can just use my inventory cars to help meet that demand. And I'm going to push up my operational investments here and then move into the truck. And again, for the truck, I have a lot of, you see I have a lot of leftover inventory. So 2678. And like I explained before, I don't want my excess or shortage to be more than 0, because my production should match what I need, what I projected to sell, less my inventory. So let me move up, make some operational investments here. And then finally, now here I'm going to have to buy 2 plants because I underestimated the sales of luxury, and that brought down, my forecast model. But here, since I fell behind in luxury, I'm going to have to buy extra plants, 2 plants to catch up to the luxury area. Okay. So let me make some more operating. These operational investments are really important because this is how I'm able to maintain my profit margins and increase my features of my car to keep things more competitive. Okay, so let me just see at the bottom. I have $164 million in cash surplus. So surely by the end of the simulation, you start really developing some nice cash surpluses, which I'm going to reinvest by buying back and paying off debt and buying back stock. Okay, made some investments there. And now I'm going to submit the round and see how I do now that I paid a little bit more attention to my forecasting and more attention to proper advertising level. I'm going to complete round 5. And you could see here that I was able to get 648 points because I'm bouncing back from a bad round. So if you have a bad round and you don't make a lot of points, it doesn't totally ruin your chances for doing well in the simulation. You just have to course correct. You have to pivot, research what you did wrong, put a little more attention to improving it, and then get your points back the next round when you get back on target. And you can see here that for my results for year 5, my revenues went up, my quick and debt ratios improved as I paid as I made more profits and paid down debts. My profit margins jumped up on both gross, operational, and net as I was more focused on my profits and my costs. And my return on assets went up because I didn't have to buy as many assets as I had invested previously, because I'm starting to get a point where these assets are generating more return than the existing assets I have. Okay, let's see. Return on assets went up. Earnings per share, return on equity, all did good on that. Book value, market capitalization, my forecasts were on point, and I got a lot of those points back I lost in the forecast. I increased my operational investments and had a surplus. I got 648 points. So if you add the 2 rounds together, it's close to 800 and 25 points, which is trying to stay on that 800, that 400 or 400 plus points per round target. Bounce back now. So you can see that now that I have to go and work on year 6, the final year, as far as my my total points, I'm at 24. So I don't have to make that many points in year 6 to get to the total points I need to get to the full score in this project. So again, this is just some advice on how to complete round 5, because I want everyone to do well in this project, and I want to show that if you do have a bad round because maybe you didn't have enough time to really work on it, you can really, if you focus, you could really reset, regroup, and earn a lot of those points back that you lost in previous rounds. Okay, so I hope you found this video helpful. And again, this is just my practice game. You're competing against live students in the team competition, and you have 2 rounds due next week. So let's finish strong in the simulation and really, get to the, get to a point where you really understand how everything works together. Finance, sales, marketing, production, to develop a strategy to, fulfill the goal of the company, which is to maximize shareholders' wealth. And that's that's why shareholders are so punishing when you don't increase profit margins, when you don't increase sales. They punish the stock because you're not maximizing shareholders' wealth, especially in this mock industry, auto industry, where sales are going up tremendously and innovation and technology are low that you invest in can lower your costs and increase your profit margins. Okay, until next time, good luck on your last 2 rounds, and I hope you found this helpful.